Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome, everybody, to Midnight Mandela. So I'm just looking at the chat over here. Yeah, preliminal. I thought it was preliminal. Did you change it to preliminal? I'm pretty sure you can change stuff on YouTube. But yeah, I don't remember you being preliminal. And I know you're the same person because you have the wrench still. So somebody else could not sneak in here with a different name because I would not have given him the wrench. So yeah, like Intrepid says, I remember you as preliminal. And it looks like way too long now too. So I don't know, shift or what, but I hope you're gonna chime in on this one because I'm really curious too. All right, who else is here? Random, Austin 108, Intrepid, Seneca, Eliza POW, Sophia XRT, Jumping Ship, Consciousness of Steel, and I think that's everybody. He was always prelim minimal. I remember since years ago on Scare Performance with the long name. Seriously? Nope, not for me. Nope, 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 nope. Preliminal. It was never preliminal. It looks way too long now, too. Preliminal. Oh, okay. We're already got a split on this one then. Yeah. No, I really, okay, so I know there's two people here that remember preliminal. How does it feel to be in the center of a Mandela? Oh, unless that person says they changed their name, I'm calling Mandela on that one. He changed his name, random. Okay, well, I need to hear it from the person in question. Because we got Austin 108 swearing it was always prelim minimal. Somebody else and me saying nuh-uhs. Eliza Powell only remembers preliminal. Okay. The mystery of the day. Okay, so what's up? All right, this one is from Heart's Truth. I had mistakenly thought it was Shari for a minute because I couldn't find it, and then I found out who sent it. It was Heart's Truth. Good find. Okay, so there's floating rocks, and they are not pumice for all you rock hounder and smarty people. There already is a floating rock called pumice. It's a very lightweight rock, so it weighs only like maybe half, maybe a third of a normal rock. So like I could carry this giant, monstrous pumice stone fairly easily because they're just like really lightweight and all full of holes. And since they're like, they call it volcanic, dried volcanic foam or something, and it comes out of volcanoes that way. So I actually have some big chunks of that stuff. And it's pretty soft. You can like kind of carve it with a knife and stuff, and all it's since it's light and it's got a million holes in it and the air gets all trapped in there, and that's why they float. Okay, so but this stuff, apparently there's another one that I have never heard of that is the floating stones of Rameshwaram, and that is in India. Rama, I'm sorry to any Indian people who's I'm killing probably the word, but Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu holds immense importance in Hindu mythology. According to Ramayana, Lord Rama's Vanara Sena. And Vanara are these monkey workers. They're like actual monkey like creatures that are in the old texts of India that supposedly were like labor or worker assistants, like a whole race of these things. Vanara built a bridge of floating stones all the way to Sri Lanka. But there is something else about the bridge that makes this place one of the most mysterious places on Earth. According to Ramayana, the bridge was built of stones that would stay afloat once the name of Lord Rama was scribbled on it. As it turned out, this wasn't just a story. The bridge was actually made of such stones, as they are still found around here and are a major tourist attraction in Rameshwaram. Okay, so the first thing is that apparently there is, and I've covered this before, there's some of the stones. Actually, let's see if I don't know if I actually linked it. There's this, let's see, what do you call it? Rama Setu. So there's this like land bridge type thingy between Sri Lanka. Okay, it's Adam's Bridge in English. Also known as Rama's Bridge or Rama Setu, is a chain of natural limestone shoals between Pamban Island, also known as Rameswaram Island, off the southeast coast of Tamil Nadu, India, and Mannar Island. All right, let me pull up an image of it. Adam's Bridge, basically. Okay, so I think I have covered this, as I don't remember this being there. Some time ago, I was like, I don't remember there being a bridge here. And this right here is this Adam's Bridge, supposedly in, so I'm kind of getting mixed messages. A lot of places like Western style say it's a natural land bridge that's partially underwater. And then there was some, well, wait, maybe it's not natural, maybe it was artificial. Apparently some of it is sunken. So here's the confusing part. I can't actually figure out if any of these stones are supposed to be the floating stones. I mean, one would imagine if stones floated, then they would just float off, right? Unless they were held together somehow. Yet there is this bridge here. And what gets confusing is that there are these floating stones in that part of India. Rameswaram has these floating stones. Now, here's what's different about these. Unlike pumice that are very light, these are supposedly quite heavy, like regular stone light. So it doesn't seem as obvious that they would float. So supposedly these are some of them. Now the thing is that they're found around there and they don't all have Rama's name on them. So that part of the story that they have to have Rama's name does not appear to be legit because you can find them naturally. They just happen to be around Rameswaram. So did this get like conflated with the story of the bridge being there, or these leftover from that bridge, or is it all just myth? I mean, I don't even know myth from reality anymore because it all magically changes anyways. But there's something fishy going on because first of all, as a rock hounder, I should have heard about these floating stones. Second of all, I can't find any scientific info on them. If there's another floating stone out there besides pumice, there should have been quite a bit of research. Us rock hounders love this kind of stuff. We'd all want one for our collections. I mean, I actually have resisted doing collections because that's a road that is just too endless and expensive and takes up too much room. But I mean, I would have wanted one of these, you know. Never even heard of it until, and now I can't find much info on it. But these stones do apparently exist. Here are two that are floating. And there was some up here. Here's some more. Now, there's one thing. They do look like they might have some kind of holes. So you can see they have this striated pattern. And then it looks like if you look end on from this end straight in, or that would be like this for you guys, it looks like it's got like these holy patterns. So I'm thinking there might be air in there. But yet they're heavy. So that's what's weird about them. You know, maybe physics is altering a little bit so a heavier stone can float. I'm going to be expecting that they're going to say there's air trapped in here, though. There's got to be some kind of scientific explanation because the Mandela does not like to be too obviously creepy. So anyway, yeah, we got a new floating stone. They're heavy. They're found in Rameshwarama, if I'm remembering that word right. And that's really cool. So, oh, one of the things I did want to say is I don't know why I got in my head that we're getting the floating islands. And we've gotten a little bit of floating islands I covered a few weeks ago. I'm just thinking if this becomes a thing. So the thing with pumice is it's kind of flimsy. You can cut it easy. It's not very tough. So it's light enough that like if you did like say you had a giant pumice and you tried to stack something on it, it would probably just go bloop and flip over because it'd be all top heavy up here. But if you had really heavy stones that floated, like a whole giant monster chunk of really heavy stone, maybe it's a solid piece or maybe it's tied together with root structures or whatever, you could have a floating island with this. So I'm wondering if we might get more of this funky floating stone stuff. It seems like this is like round one. There's almost no info. It doesn't have its own name. It's kind of, what is it? It was Rama Setu floating stone. So Rama Setu is this Adams Bridge island or connector rocks. Okay, so I'm thinking it's gonna get its own name. There's been some mumbling that it's limestone. Okay, so maybe some kind of fossilized limestone. Some people are saying, oh, it's coral, but it does not look like it's coral, but maybe fossilized coral. It might be fossilized coral. There's something going on with the striations in this end-on coloration, though. Or spots and holes and stuff. So it does kind of look like fossilized coral, like maybe limestone fossilized coral. Anyway, the story's not done yet, I don't think. I think we'll hear more. So definitely want to check back on the floating stones because I think we're going to see some cool stuff with that. Love to carbon date test on those rocks compared to other stones. Okay, now here's the problem. I really am just hearing like I can't find any scientific stuff. Maybe it's out there. Maybe I didn't look hard enough. But what I'm hearing is one person said that they tried to, first of all, it's hard to carbon date like stones, I think, because it's they like organic stuff. But they did try to date that Adams Bridge, and it dated from the same time frame as the story of the monkeys building the bridge. Like it fit with the storyline of the Indian texts. So, but that was just like a statement out somewhere, and it didn't link back to any carbon dating info or scientific info. And like all the info I can find in English was like barely in English. Like the person obviously didn't even speak good English. And so it's really like weird right now that it's like really fresh off the Mandela grill or something. Moneybags is showing a video of a scarecrow from Wizard of Oz who now has a black hat. Looks like a witch's hat. Huh. Okay, let's check it out. Scarecrow. Let's see, what was it? How should I say it again? From Wizard of Oz. Okay. No, yeah, I do agree with Moneybags on that one. It's funny because I want to say he looks like a girl now because it's a witch's hat, so I just expect like a witch. Alright, is that the pants he wore? Because I don't remember that pants either with the funky spots. At all. I don't know why I'm fixating on the pants, but I swear they were just like dirt colored pants. And gloves? I don't think I remember those either, actually. I guess those would be stuffed hand things, but I just remember like a whole bunch of I don't know, like a way more straw coming out. And I'm trying to think what the hands were, but I don't remember white gloves as them being the hands. Maybe they were just more straw colored, but I don't remember that. I don't remember that. And I don't remember that. Actually, that part too, where the skin turns into... Okay, let me just look at the real one and see if that's really it. Because actually, the way the neck is all creepy. Let's try this one. No, see? Okay. No, that's not how I remember it. Okay. No, it's creepy now. Okay, so now this skin turns into this cloth. So he basically has like skin, like this is the end of his skin. I don't remember it like that at all. I remember like straw all coming out, and then there was like the face, and then there was like all this straw coming out. There wasn't like now it looks like there's skin stretched over and then tied on with a rope, and that's just creepy. That's not right. I just remember a ton of straw sticking out everywhere. I remember thinking it looked really uncomfortable because it would be all itchy if you had that costume. You'd have straw all on you and you'd be like, ugh. But now, see, there's no straw here. And that's creepy. That's like super creepy. So that image I saw before, this image, is the legit... So his skin is a sack. I don't know why that's so creepy, but it's so creepy. So yeah, it looks quite different to me. And he's missing all the straw. There was a ton of straw sticking out. Yuck. I think the nose is off too. Like the whole thing is off. So now his skin is all like wrinkled, like he's made out of sack. And I just remember a normal face with makeup on it, but they didn't make the face look wrinkled like it was made out of wrinkle sack. And now it's sort of scary, to be honest. It used to be corny looking. That is just not right. You know, I totally agree with Moneybags. Good find, Moneybags, or whoever found it for you. I don't remember this bundle here. I sure as heck... That's just like a horror story thing now. It wasn't all creepy like that. Like, if you untied that rope, you'd just rip his whole face off. I'd be, like, scared. I don't remember this tears in the front of his, with straw coming out either. Like, these bundles. There was straw, and it wasn't, like, it looks like it's all wiry stuff. Now, what I remember is actual straw, like, you know, the straight straw. I'm not sure what this stuff is, but that's not the stuffing that I remember. Can't remember for sure what color this part was, but I know the pants were like just cheap looking, like dirt colored pants. Excuse me, hiccups. I mean, look at that image. Would you forget this? I don't think so. I wonder, is it an old Mandela that there's a bow tie here on this Tin Man? Because I don't remember the bow tie. I know this is an older Mandela here with this loop and the hole in his nose. So I remember him being more like this, like there was just straw sticking out here and then a painted face. This is more horrific right here. Definitely. I keep thinking maybe, every one of them shows that same creepy face. That's gross. Like the other one was cheesier, and I think I'd rather have that. Yeah, see, look at that. So your skin is just pulled down and tied on with a rope? I mean, come on. That would give nightmares to little kids. Look at that. That's, yeah. Right after Halloween, this is what you get. I mean, look at that. That is so wrong. I don't even see any, let's see. Scarecrow costume. Let's just see what we've got for. Yeah, that's a good Mandela, but frankly, that weird skin thing is worse for me. All right, that's not really that accurate. Interesting, because there's quite a number with this is a little closer. It has straw out the bottom. There's quite a number with overalls. I'm trying to remember if he had overalls. They pretty much all have that creepy skin stuff, though. This. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe he had overalls. This really reminds me more of it. See, there's just like a bunch of straw coming out. I think that's the same one that we already looked at. There seems to be a lot of them with this bluish overalls thing going on here. That really looks more like some kind of horror thing. God, there's so many versions of costume that it's kind of making it difficult to even see one that's more common. See what you guys are saying. No preliminal for you. It was preliminal. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm calling it preliminal. I'm calling that a Mandela. Preliminal. And I've said it. I've said it on this show. I'm sure I always said preliminal. Was I like saying it wrong every last time? Or did I say it preliminal in the other timeline? So where is preliminal? So he shows up and then he doesn't answer the question, man. It's making me crazy. I'm sure lots of times I said the name and I always said it's preliminal. I never once said it was preliminal. Austin 108 said, did you see the news article that said people woke up to their clocks being changed for daylight savings on the 1st when it doesn't change until the 7th? No. Clocks being, okay, I don't even know how to look that up. I'm just going to try copy pasting it. All right, I'm giving up on the, well, maybe I shouldn't. I can, we're done with Rama Setu, right? So I'll get rid of that. Try to keep these links down. The computer was crabby earlier, but it seems to be working pretty good now, but I won't want to push it. Yeah, see, it's another month though, right? Clock change for daylights. Okay, let's just try that much. I don't know. You gotta help me out. I don't know where that article is. Yeah, I'm not finding it. I didn't see it. Google's so useless now. I mean, you can't find anything on that thing. All right, so John Bernard Shaw does not remember preliminal. Random remembers preliminal. Scare-ebb performance. Intrepid remembers scare-ebb performance. I do remember scare-ub for performance. No E for me. Eliza Powell remembers preliminal, not preliminal. And scare, yeah, I remember scarab, S-C-A-R-A-B, scarab, like it's really spelled. Performance. It's still that, right? It's still scarab with an A-R-A-B. Let me know if not, I'll have to freak out again. Mandela Effect, Quantum Stuff Texas is in. Quantum Stuff Texas, Danny is in. I feel like it's like three names put together. So Danny do you remember the name Preliminal or the name Preliminal as the person who comes on this show a lot? Preliminal or Preliminal? Because that's the latest question. It's our own show user Mandela. Floating stone is either less density in that particular stone or the water has high salt content. I don't know. They said the stones are heavy, though, like regular stones. Yeah, that's weird. The Scarecrow has a straw hat. Trying to think. I just don't remember that hat looks like a witch, but I'm kind of blurry. I remember all the straw sticking out everywhere because I remember thinking that looks so itchy. Myth is reality. Titans, Olympians, Tartari. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, I don't even know how to even describe real anymore. So yeah, Austin, I don't know if you've given me the link or like the exact name of the article. I'd love to look that one up about the daylight savings time. I had a few weird events for a while on my phone. Was like saying congratulations. This was a couple years ago. Saying congratulations, it's election day, and I'm like, it's not election. It was the election day was like 2 days later. And for 1 year, that was all weird like that. And the thing is, those things are supposed to be automatically uploaded to the cell phone. So I'm like, where is this totally wrong data coming from? People saying it was going to change on the 31st, and then that weird thing happened, and now it changes on the 7th. All right, Austin 108 having a lot of personal Mandela effects. It's been I felt weird this week, last few weeks, but it hasn't. I haven't really had any huge ones. Just the usual stuff at work, like, okay, what happened? There was another. Oh, okay. I make these Coyote skull lamps a lot. I've talked about this before, and I could probably show you. Hold on, let me go get my Coyote skull that I have here. It probably will still be on this one. Yeah, it's doing it on you. This one shows it. Actually, I'll bring both of them. It's been a while since I brought this out. Okay, I have two. So this one is actually an art that I did a long time ago and I was going to sell it. But then I didn't really like the way it came out. So I never really got around to actually taking the photos. Probably partly because I didn't like it. Okay, so I was going to take a coyote skull and carve the eyes out bigger and then put some like fangs and stuff and make it look like an alien skull. But as you can see here, the holes here and here now make no sense because that doesn't expand the eyes. So basically, I did this many years ago when the coyotes had eyes like ours, which were a hole and then like a socket that went way back. It wasn't closed with bone. So now coyotes, when humans switched to have the eyes have bone behind them, coyotes switched also. So there used to be like a skull and then a hole for the eye, but now it's all closed. So I had been sitting there thinking about it going, well, what when I still have that skull where I took the eye socket and expanded it. But now there is no eye socket to expand. So now it just looks like I carved a random hole in the side of his cheek for like no reason whatsoever. Because I would be an idiot. I mean, I would never make this choice. That's why I'm looking at this going, I don't think, I mean, was the other me that made this like that stupid that I'm just going to think that it's going to look good to poke a hole in the side of his face? No, I don't think so. I mean, there's no evidence that the other me was that stupid. So this is like one of my residues. Like now there's a stupid hole in the side of his cheek because once upon a time that hole connected up to an eye socket and now it doesn't. Okay, so what is the thing I noticed lately though? Lately, I went to make one of my coyote skull lamps, and what often happens, like this one, is for predator teeth, the teeth fall out a lot, and so I have to put them back in. And what I saw was that now, I want to see if you can see this. Wait, it's here. All right, so what I'm trying to point at is right here. See that nub? Okay, so the nub on the side of the face is, okay, that's at the very center point of a missing tooth. So this tooth is still here, and this one will also have a center nub right there. And those center nubs did not used to be like that. See, there's one here. Let me see if there's only one on that side. Let me go on this side. Now, some of them have it more than others, but they never used to have this. So like this one here, see, you can see my finger's right on it now. That nub is the middle part of where a tooth was, and so is that nub. Wait. Move back, Eva. This nub here and this nub there were both centers. So this guy's missing a bunch of his teeth, basically. So what's happening now is the teeth have kind of a little notch out area, and the skull bone from the actual skull now fits into that hole like a little pointy notch thing. So now the skull at the top will basically be going new, 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 new for each tooth. And so like I was flipping out because that was not the case like even like 2 weeks ago when I made one, that was not like that. So those little points. So now along the jawline used to be where the teeth go and used to be straight, but now it's going to have all these little thingies, like little pokey points in the bone itself. So the bone itself is growing down into the tooth. That just wasn't that way before. I mean, flesh might grow down into them, but it was never actual bone. So that's a new Mandela for me. And I pull out the skull. I'm like, what? So, whenever that happens, I'm going, okay, go look at another skull. They're all got it. Just like that. They all got it. So Eva flipping out at work. This stuff happens a lot at work because I'll pull something out and I'll be like, oh, this one has a weird little nub over here. And then they all have the weird little nub. I mean, like I work with these things often enough, especially certain of the items, that I totally noticed it. They have constructed a bridge between India and Sri Lanka. The same thing occurred between Denmark and Sweden. Yeah, and then you look over there by Alaska, there's that chain of islands. Well, for you, it'll be this way. Going along off of Alaska, hooking up over there by Russia somewhere. So the islands things are showing up. And I think I've had on here before, but at some distant times, that I do not remember Adam's Bridge. And now we've got this whole story that it was made of floating Rama blessed stones put together by an ancient monkey race. So yeah, okay. I want to say it's ridiculous, but hey, nothing's really impossible anymore, I don't think. Art Generica's in. Welcome. So Art Generica, do you remember preliminal or was it preliminal? Preliminal or preliminal as the name of the person that's often on here? Because we've got a Mandela question. Hopefully the person in question will chime in on if they've changed their name, because about half of us remember preliminal and the other half remember preliminal. The weird thing is some people's clocks on their phone did change and made the news, but now it isn't supposed to change till the 7th. So what did it like? I just don't see why all the programming wouldn't have changed too, unless it's just kind of letting more people. I mean, I kind of wonder, is the part of the point of the Mandela to help people wake up and see that reality isn't what we thought? And so you're constantly faced with these weird, so the younger generation's growing up with this concept of Mandela, kind of like we grew up with UFOs and ghosts, right? So it's not that weird to them. They're just like, oh, haha, that's freaky. They don't get all upset and angry about it, it doesn't seem. Some of them do, but a lot of them are just think it's interesting. They're not all the way on our side, all serious, but they're not like naysaying out, like and getting all upset or anything. It's just another kind of interesting thing about the world to them that that they're not sure about, but it's interesting. So they're going to grow up with it with a more open mind, basically. And if stuff happens that's weird, they're going to go, oh my God, is that a Mandela effect? So is it kind of like, are we going to get like more and more of these things to like get people more and more realizing that things aren't right? And in some of this more mainstream stuff, maybe? That Scarecrow's all. I know it's hard. I'm like, my brain is a little fuzzy on how it used to be, but I know it wasn't like a witch. And he didn't look like a girl. I mean, he looked like a rope around his neck like that is creepy. Yeah. I don't remember a rope around his neck. I just remember a bunch of straw. I don't know the Wizard of Oz very well, but for a long time I have the impression that a character is missing along Dorothy. Lion, Scarecrow, Tin Man. No, I'm not sure. Barely looks like a scarecrow. I know, it looks like more of a horror story thing. There's not much straw. I also remember the straw man in normal face with makeup. Yeah, he wasn't scary. It was kind of tacky. It was kind of low rent and cheesy, but that was fine. Now it's just like some kind of Nightmare on Elm Street looking thing. My mom's dad was best friends with the Scarecrow, like the best friends. She's getting bad with her dementia, so I'm having problems with her at the moment, so I can't ask. Sorry to hear that. There's so much of this dementia, Alzheimer's thing. I really have to wonder if it isn't tied up with all the shifts and stuff. Art Generic remembers Preliminal. Yeah, so Preliminal, that's my timeline name, commented at the beginning of the show, and you could see the name is now Preliminal. But then this person disappeared after that and has not responded to my repeated confusion as to if they changed their name or not. Shelby Norwood remembers Preliminal. A brownish hat for Scarecrow. I know, I just remember it was really dirt colored and plain. It wasn't, it just was really bland. Not for Preliminal, but for the Scarecrow. Google this. People woke up to their clocks turned back. Okay. Google. All right, let me put it on Google too. Because right now it's on DuckDuckGo. Not that DuckDuckGo is much better, but it does screen out a little bit less stuff than Google. Google has certain functions I sometimes like, though. When to turn your clocks back? When does the chime change? When we change our clocks and why? All right, I'm still not seeing it. I don't know what's up. Let's see. Austin. Let me see if I can make you. All right, you're a moderator. You got the wrench. So now you should be able to cut and paste the link right into the chat since you have your new super moderator powers. Barry Taylor's in. Welcome, welcome. I recall Luke. Do you? Luke. You mean Luke, I am your father? Yeah. I think everybody here pretty much recalls Luke, I am your father. Now it's no, I am your father. There are, when is it, a few months ago, some people showed up that remember no, Luke, I am your father. So always preliminal, my keyboard says. Oh, you can't trust the keyboard because it's on the side of the Mandela. JoJo's is in. JoJo's, are you on here enough to remember if that person who's on here all the time was preliminal or preliminal? I don't know why I'm fixated on this one Mandela of our user base, but Mandela effect always uses the word pre, so that doesn't help. I thought they were going to do away with daylight savings time. Now everybody does it at a different time, and then that, and then. Oh, it's crazy. Shelby remembers preliminal, yes. They're not, I've said before, I think that the daylight savings time is part of how they're shifting like the times and they're moving around the locations. And I think it's tied up with this whole time changing thing. Oh, yeah, Shari's not here today. I know, you're right, huh? Your Eva counterpart not as creative as you. No, I don't think she would have done it. I think that it was done when there was still the hole in the eye socket in there. I would have guessed that the nub was the separator part between the teeth. Yeah, no, it actually goes in the middle of the tooth. The teeth have been changing a lot too. Because I drill holes in them all the time and sell them, and they've been slowly morphing. Like the Coyote skull used to have, let's see, do I have one? So, let me pull this up again so you can see it. The other change with Coyote skulls is that back in here, they used to have more molars, but this part here has flattened out a lot. So this tooth now, right here, it's very flat. See, it's not a molar anymore. So there's only 2 molars on each side left. There used to be like 3.5. And when I make my lamps, I glue the lower jaw on. So I put the glue in there. And I used to be able to glue them pretty tight. But now this one only has 2 teeth on each side that are molars. That are really like flat, noshing molars. And the other side, the jaw part, only has like 1.5. And these are just like disappearing. Their molars are disappearing. The flat parts of the molars. And there never was this tooth here. This funky, like, it looks like a mountain range on the side. I didn't have those. Then I had these normal little ones along the side, but they're all changing. I mean, it's every time I look at it, it looks a little different. So it's getting hard to glue the jaws shut because there's not any place to put the glue anymore. Like the gluey areas are disappearing off of these things. We're manifesting regenerating teeth. Yeah, definitely working on that. There's rehealing going on all over. The ribs can now regrow. Fingertips can regrow. Now, first it was said it was just for children, but now even as adults you can grow tips of fingers. The new story is if you cut it off past the nail bed where the fingernail grows. So like if it's past the nail bed, you can regrow your fingertip now. Brain cells regrow. Remember they used to say the neurons that you're born with are all you get. Reminds me of the skulls at the La Brea tar pits. Okay, I'm not sure on that one. Everybody's calling her Once Upon a Timeline now, a bit formal. Yeah, I don't know. You're right, huh? I don't know what's up, but I thought I was just evil. I don't know why, and it's all like orange highlighted, so. Don't ask me. That was the first I'm seeing it. Interesting how usernames with more creative spellings tend to ME change more. I don't know. We've had so many on Retcon also. Like some people with just like Evo 1001, then it'll be 10001 or 1100 or Eva 123110. I mean, like everybody's name's switching. So okay, here it is. Let's see if this loads. Some Bell customers woke up late today thanks to a time change on their cell phones. Oh, it made them late too. That sucks. I'm like, boss, it's from the time change. And the boss is all baloney. That's next week. I'm sure that went over well. If you woke up late for work for an appointment because your phone was reading the wrong time, no, it's not that Halloween candy. Some Best Bell customers took to Twitter to report that the time on their smartphones had suddenly jumped back an hour a week before the end of daylight savings time when clocks fall back an hour on November 7th. A Bell Canada spokesman told the Star that the issue has since been resolved. Well, that's not very helpful after everybody already woke up late. The update will be done automatically, but customers may need to reboot their phones or go on airplane mode to trigger the time change. We'd like to thank everybody for their patience. Yeah, I don't remember saying I had any, but Bell support responded early this morning to a flood of tweets from panicked customers. Panicked. How about probably irritated? It impacted Bell and Virgin customers as well. Bell owns Virgin Mobile Canada, having purchased the company in 2009. People across the country woke up late and confused. Okay, interesting. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine how that happened. And we've all seen some weird stuff along those lines. JoJo's remembers preliminal. Very interesting. So yeah, apparently, I don't know, it's as you can see, it's preliminal, but this person then wasn't on after that for us to ask about the name or if they changed it. But like half of the people on here say they remember preliminal, and I don't. The other half are like me, we remember preliminal. People's cars changed. Take Shari D's wrench away just to freak her out. I'm not that mean. Plus, she probably wouldn't be able to get a hold of me right away. Then she would worry that there was some kind of, I don't know. I don't want to mess with people's heads. Things are too like difficult right now for me to play a mean joke on somebody. And she's too nice to do that too, so. It appears the time change error on smartphones has something to do with the automatic time zone setting. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty weird. Doug Frenner's in. Welcome. In France, we turned back clocks last Sunday, maybe in Europe. Yeah, why did you all do it at a different time? It's just weird. I mean, like, why didn't have, like, all of Europe do it the same day? There's no real reason to have it all different. Saw him, the Dark Wolf's Den show last week, preliminal. Yeah, and I think the last time he was on here was preliminal. Did not know that it starts an hour earlier today. Well, my chime has not changed as far as I know. I think it's like next month or something. But your time might have changed because I haven't changed my clocks at all. When do I change my clocks anyway? Six time. San Diego, California. 2021 in California. Okay, so it's coming up. Oh, it's this weekend. Okay. So yeah, I have not changed my time yet. I kind of got worried there for a minute that maybe I had and didn't notice, but I have a an alarm clock on a battery, so that should not match the rest of the clocks, but and the one on the microwave has to be hand set. Okay, so November 7th. So I have not changed my time yet. So either then did you change your time yet? Because if you haven't changed yours and I haven't changed mine, then nothing should have changed. If you changed yours, then that's the explanation. But last time there was time changes, we had some like this where both of us sides sweared we didn't change, but the other side swearing that I was an hour earlier or later or something. So that's why I think the time change things, there's something funny going on, because if neither one of us have done the change yet, then I should always hit at the same hour in your part of the world. Yet that didn't happen last year. So yeah, let me know. Did you change your time? Because I haven't done it yet. So Linda Lavalamp, did your time zone? Did you do the daylight savings time thingy on your end? Sapioid, so I'm an hour early for you. Are you saying you did not change your time zone? Your time, daylight savings time thingy? Because then that'll be two of you. See, this happened last time too. There was several people around daylight savings time that said something changed, and it didn't. So you can see how if you're not really tacking these things down, this is the kind of weird stuff that the daylight savings time hides. Because normally, an hour, if you were suddenly an hour off around this time of the year, you would just assume that somebody had a daylight savings time event. You wouldn't actually like nail them down and go, did you, but since we're into Mandela, we'll do that. But 99% of the time you would have just written it off. Oh, they must have switched their times. My PC automatically updates the hour, so that might be why. Yeah, but is every clock in your house automatically updated? Because otherwise you should have some clocks that don't match the other ones. Like usually the microwave is not Wi-Fi, so that one has to be manually updated. Yeah, smartphones and PCs will update, but microwaves will not. USA computers change automatically, but EUR set if for EUR will change for them on computers. USA is always a week behind Europe on daylight savings time switch. Okay, so then that would kind of assume that y'all, rest of you's already had your switch. It just seems weird that you'd have your switch, but you wouldn't know. And this is Wednesday, so that would have been days ago that you had it. I mean, usually isn't there some kind of chatter in your area like, oh, don't forget to change your time and stuff? So JoJo's, I don't know if you saw, but we were chit-chatting about Moneybags had the Scarecrow on his show has this black hat now that looks like a witch. And then I chimed in that I don't remember him having skin made out of cloth so that his skin comes down here and then is torn rags with a giant rope around his neck, because that's like really creepy. And I don't know, it's sort of like a horror story skin now, basically. So that's what we were chit-chatting about. See, that looks creepy. Ugh. All right, but anyways, let me put my skulls away. All right, so what do we got? Scarecrow, I'll add that on. Maybe those hours aren't hours. Yep, I don't know. So fall is fall back for me, so we should fall back next week then. What did you say about preliminal? Has the name changed? Okay, so for me, the name was always preliminal. And for like at least half the people on this show, they remember preliminal. But now, apparently, the name is preliminal. Unfortunately, preliminal, or however you want to say it, isn't around to ask right now. So we're all like, did you change your name? Did you change your name? I know it is the same person because he has a wrench, which, you know, if there was a copycat one that used the same name would not have the wrench, because I wouldn't have given it to them. In fact, I haven't given anybody a wrench in eons just because I totally forgot about it until I just gave that one just today to somebody so they could post a link. Yeah, Scarecrow has changed majorly. Yup. Yeah, he's got horror skin now. His skin comes down and it's all wrinkly, and it comes down here with a rope. It's all creepy. Yuck. I don't like it. And he looks like a witch and kind of like a girl with that hat. Okay, so actually it's Moneybags who noticed the hat, but I'm saying I agree with you on the hat and I raise you creepy skin. I really don't remember those pants either, but whatever. It's not half as bad as the creepy skin. Alrighty. Okay, this one's from Shari. We were kind of looking at the Easter Island statues. It seems like a lot fewer of them have the red hats now. So there's only like 2 images that we find. First of all, this long line of them, I swear there was more than 1 red hats. Oops, not found. So here, there was more than 1 red hat. So there's only 1 red hats on this line. I am pretty sure, is that the same line? Yes, this is the same line. The end of that line of guys. There was more than that. They look like they're pitched forward more now. They were out to the side more, but now they're out to the front more. At least that one. So it almost looks like he's got some kind of a pompadour or something. I don't remember it looking like that at all. And it's all kind of gummied up in there. Now, we've already talked about like how all the different heights, they were all the same originally, same heights. So there's still like stuff going on with these guys. So there's that one. And the only other one that I was able to find hats on was the one that I used for one of my shows, the thumbnail. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, wait, now there's this one though. Wait a minute. Oh, yes, this is the one I used for my thumbnail. So this one has not changed too much. So there's this one and then that one, and that's like it. I also don't remember these decapitated ones being over here, but on my thumbnail, I didn't use that end. And I also do not remember a bunch of freaking bird turds all the top of them. So, yeah, none of these guys had bird turds. And now that I think about it, or I don't know if it's lichen, but I think it's supposed to be bird turds. Now that I think about it, that's weird. I don't know. Pigeons have come to the island, but these are old photos. So, this island had pigeons or what? I don't know. Something's going on because there was never any photos with the turds. This one doesn't have the turds. And there's one other thing. Let me see if I can find a good image that shows it. This one kind of helps. Well, so it looks like there's a little bit more of a nose carving here, a little bit more of a individual lips. Kind of looks like two records stuck together. Don't remember the lips looking all pursed like that. They look like upset Karens now with the pursed lips. So these guys got these big pursed lips. These guys not quite as much. Can't see it well from that side. Little bit though. So I don't remember the noses being quite that chewed out, and the lips are a little more pursed than I remember. This guy got a belly button. I do not remember there being a belly button on them before. Looks like that one has it there and there. So they've grown a belly button. The other thing is you can see on this guy, the eyes look like they've carved out an actual eye hole. So before the cheek would just come straight up, straight up into the brow region. But now there is actually an eye hole in some of these, like separately carved out from the cheek area. So these guys are slowly developing bit by bit to be more sophisticated. See if I can find another one that shows those eyes better. So from certain angles, you can't really see that the eyes are carved out, but I have a feeling that that is pretty fresh off the presses. Here, these guys show it pretty good. See, these noses, they're separated out, and these eyes are very much carved out now. So we've got these giant schnozzes. So it's starting to look very kind of Afro-American style, big wide noses. You've got the carved out eyes. These guys do not have the Karen lips as much. So there's a lot more variation now in these things. Don't know what happened to this guy. I've never seen any washed out like that, and he looks like a fringe on his nose, which is weird. So there's more of that white stuff now. I don't know what's going on with the white stuff. Maybe it's not bird turds, but I don't remember white stuff on any of them. These guys are badly degraded. I have actually not seen any with this much degradation. This looks like it's, you know, this might be repairs. Some of this white might be repairs because that looks like a repair. Crappy, cheesy repairs, I might add. Interesting. So I have not seen that before, those guys like that. So anyway, there just seems like we're missing some hats. I swear there was more than one hat in that long row especially. All right. And those other changes. What's up with that one? I think those are reproduction ones there. So I don't think it counts. So yeah, individualization continues with these things. More and more variation. I thought you already knew about the preliminal possible ME. It's very ancient for me. Really? Intrepid. I guess you're first to the timeline because we're all like, that just happened, dude. Those were stool pigeons. The hats look like stools. Oh, I see you're one of those kind of people. Yeah, they're starting to have a little bit of flesh material in the front and stuff. Yes. It's not real fleshed out yet, but they're working on it. Capalicious 420 is in. Their ears. That I've said that what some months ago. The ears for me, yeah, they grew the ears, and then they're these stretchy outy ears. Buddha did not used to have these dangly stretchy outy ears for me either. So those two both got their. So the story now is that ears continue to grow uh, as you like. They don't stop growing. So old people have bigger ears than young people, and so big ears are considered a sign of wisdom. The whole thing freaks me out. So ears don't stop growing, at least last I checked, in reality, not just in statues. And so for me, once you were, 18 or 20 or something, unless you had some kind of pituitary tumor, you were done growing. And that included your ears. There was no continued ear growth for me. And yeah, I talked about that Buddha one I noticed first, the Buddha ears, the dangle ears. So then I found out ears don't stop growing, and so I guess that's why. Okay, this one. So that one was from Shari, the Easter Island ones. This is another one by Shari. So she said she was looking at people walking around and she felt like the bottom leg looked weird. So I looked it up. All right, so we'll just do like this. I need a back view that was easy to find last time. I saw it. It was easy to find last time. Where? Okay, here. This kind of shows it. Okay, so she felt like here was kind of missing like material. Like the ankle looks really high. There's this big bulge way up here, but then there's all this ankle. If you kind of look at that, she felt it looked weird. And I do too. I just feel like this calf muscle used to come down, like it used to start a little lower and then it would bulge out to here and then it would come down to like here. And that has slowly, so now the bulge is like way up here, like halfway up. And I've kind of covered this before, but it's just gotten more extreme lately. So first of all, for me, there was only one calf muscle per leg. The calves refer to two legs. But now, this is the human calf muscle. So I've said before, this part here, this is interesting. So for me, these calf muscles came down lower, and then there was the little tendon attached to back here. Maybe a little larger here. This little tendon was like really thin, and then it would come up to these two calves. So what's happened is these calves are working their way. They split into two for me, and they're working their way up by the knee now. And this strip is getting like longer and longer. The other thing is this strip used to be like one thin white strip. It didn't used to branch out into this giant fan area. Calcaneal tendon. I'm not sure if I remember that name, but it was just like one little strip. Is my point. And so these calves would come down, and originally it was just a tiny little bit that was the white part, and then it got longer and longer and longer and longer, and so now it's like fanned out. Used to be these calf muscles would come down, and they would pinch down and meet the white part, but now the white part fans out to meet the calf muscles. So I think that that's why things look weird to her. Let's try this one. It's not quite as fanned out in here, but it still has the look. And it looks a lot thicker, too, to me than last times I've looked. This was a very thin band before, but it's beefy now. And this area is actually partially responsible for pumping of blood now, too. The flexing of the cap helps pump blood back up. I covered that last time. That wasn't originally the case for me for calf muscles. They weren't like the second heart like they are now. So again, see here. Interesting, it kind of looks like there's two different heights on that one. I don't know if that's just bad drawing, but look at how big that white part is. I just wasn't, even last time I looked at it, it wasn't like that. So I think that's what she's seeing. Basically, this used to bulge down more and meet over down here more. It's sneaking up to the knee area. It's even kind of behind the knee a lot now. I really don't remember it being all smooshed up behind the knee that much. This shows it too. And you can see it on the bodybuilders. It's so creepy looking. Let's see. I actually haven't looked at it, but yeah, so one is actually higher than the other too. That's interesting. That's the first I've seen that. And I know that we've looked at these bodybuilder ones before and they weren't that off center. It just looks so, yeah, so that's different. They're off center now. Wow, they're like really off center. So it wasn't a bad drawing. That's how they are. Look at that. It looks so wrong. Man, you gotta, just because I type in the word calf, there's some rather pornographic stuff on there. See, check it out. So that one, it's really, yeah, you can see it over here too, though. So, yeah, that's your calf now, people. You've got good fun energy tonight. Oh, Anne does. Cool. Okay. Austin 108. Notice that about the legs on himself. Okay, interesting. Archaeologists claim that the red hats were stylized hair. Yes, I've covered that one before, and it's interesting because I feel like it's another trolling of the Mandela. So basically, they turned a statue that was famous as bald heads into bodies with giant hair. And somehow Mandela got away with that without people noticing. So when you think about that, it's pretty funny. I don't want to look at my old body changes. It's freaky. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I have to be like in the right mood to look because it is freaky. I think the weirder part is the sandal strap like foot tendons. For me, yes. Yeah, let me see if it still says that. It probably will because usually, usually these things are one way when it comes to biology changes. Calves, the second heart. Might as well check that storyline. Yes, here it is. Why the calf muscle is considered the second heart. And that's interesting because there was a few years when my calves would really weirdly get achy. And I thought it was, oh, see, you can see how asymmetrical it is on that guy, even though he's not super buffed. You might write that off if you didn't know what you're looking for, but it looks pretty weird once you look at it. The calf muscle is often considered the second heart because it plays a role within the circulatory system that is similar to the heart. One pump of the heart exerts enough power to send blood through the body, reaching the low extremities in just seconds. That oxygen-rich blood flow through arteries and capillaries to reach every cell of the body, provide oxygen and nourishment. The oxygen-depleted blood then needs to return back up through the veins to reach the heart. The problem is that traveling back up to the heart takes more force than a single pump of the heart can provide because the blood is flowing counter to gravity. To get the job done efficiently, the vein needs negative energy from the pumping heart plus stimulation from what is now known as the calf muscle pump. Once you learn how the calf muscle assists in the heart and circulating blood, you'll understand why keeping your calf strong is just as important as protecting your heart through good nutrition. All right, let's see. Venous muscular pumps in the lower body apply upward pressure on the veins to keep it moving at an efficient pace and in the right direction. These pumps include the ankle pump and the calf muscle pump. Okay, so we've got an ankle pump. Oops, dropped my pen again. We'll get another one out of the magic pen bin here. Okay, so now we've got two pumps. Last I checked it was calf, but now we have an ankle pump and a calf muscle pump, and they work together. All right. Interesting. Calf muscle acts as pump for deep leg veins. See if we can get this a little bigger. Open in new tab. Hopefully it's bigger. Yes. Okay, valves prevent backflow. Okay, so then when the muscle fibers contract, since there's no backflow allowed, it has to push forward. Blood flow caused by muscle contraction. So what happens when you're sitting on your butt doing nothing, but perhaps you don't need as much blood flow because you're not exercising? So then what? The hardest would be if you're exercising really hard but not using your legs. That might be the hardest. But if you are using your legs, then the calf muscles will pump. So that's what it's going to be probably different now, is that these veins are like continually squished by the calf muscle. Interesting. So now we have something in the ankle too. Each time you take a step, when your heel touches down, blood is pulled in the veins. When the front of your foot touches down, the pulled blood is charged upwards. So what if you walk funny or something? Can that screw it up? Is there like an ideal way to walk to pump more blood? If you like walk on your tiptoes like a ballet dancer, does that make it better or worse? The blood is transferred into veins running between the knee and groin. From there it enters the abdominal cavity and travels to the vena cavity of the heart. There is less resistance from gravity on this final leg of the trip. Why would there be? Why would there be less resistance of gravity on the final leg of the trip? I mean, there's not going to be a huge difference in gravity itself. The network of veins in the lower leg is extensive, so the process of venous return is a bit more complex than described in these steps. These network includes veins of different sizes, and they all feed in one another to get the blood back. None of them can do their job well without a strong calf muscle pump. When the ankle and soleus muscle are strong and in proper working order, they form your peripheral heart and pump the blood consistently upward to prevent varicose and spider veins. When you stop moving your leg, just stop applying the upward pressure. The blood flow through the lower leg slows down dramatically. If your calves are inactive for long periods of time, your blood is at greater risk of pooling in the veins. A study showed that people with chronic heart failure have smaller calf muscles than healthy people. So anyway, yeah, so keep your calves strong would be good advice. Don't skip leg day, or at least do some walk-in or something. Our hands have been steadily changing, slowly but surely. Example, they're beefy compared to my old hands. It does seem like they might be a little wider this way. But, you know, besides the thumb coming down and getting longer, I mean, and then there's more of an angle through here. These used to be more even. This has got more angle that way. But those have been discussed before. Started studying anatomy, got an A. Okay, but it keeps changing. Yeah, I wouldn't get an A now, that's for sure. I mean, half the stuff that's on there now wasn't even there before. I got persimmons for the first time because you're talking about them, and they are delicious. Yeah, they are actually one of my more favorite foods, as long as you get the fuyu, the crunchy apple kind. Okay, so that one was from Shari. And the Easter Islands ones, Red Hats was Shari D. And this one is a lot of people actually, well, not a lot. Couple people that I know kind of personally brought this up, but I did find this one myself, and it's interesting because it was San Diego. So, Genesis. So this is a parthenogenesis again, kicking in. Now with the California Condors. Whoops. Amazing finding. First of all, look at those condors. All right, I used to go to the zoo all the time to see condors. They did not have white all on their underside. They were just gray, black birds. They were boring. So they've got, I used to go to the zoo a lot because a friend had free tickets. Like he had an annual membership, so he could get one person in with him for free whenever he wanted. So we would go together and like walk all around as exercise. And so these guys at the San Diego Zoo, they pretty much just sit on the rock and stick out their wings, and sometimes they jump in these little water puddles they have. But we saw them many times with their wings stuck out. They like doing that. And they were not white. But now they're doing some other weird thing. They laid eggs with no males, and the eggs bore chicks. 2 of them now, not just one. 2 instances of asexual reproduction in California condors to have been confirmed in California in the San Diego Zoo. Both chicks were biologically fatherless. Now, they're not saying that they're clones of the mother here, Parthenogenesis is a natural form of asexual reproduction in which an embryo that is not fertilized by sperm continues to develop, containing only genetic materials of the mother. It occurs naturally in some plants, and insects, fish, amphibians, reptiles, and very rarely birds. Now, this is the part that I believe is new since last time I covered parthenogenesis. I don't remember it being in birds. I certainly was not in California condors. There's no freaking way it was California condors. California condors is like a big deal in California because they were going to go extinct for sure 20 years ago and all that stuff. And of course now there's more than ever of them, but there's no freaking way that fatherless birth was in birds. It certainly was not in California condors. But now we have not just one egg, but two eggs. I think it was from two different birds, too. Let's see. Two chicks. Were they from the same bird? They said they're fatherless, but they didn't say what bird they're from. Both of the females also produced numerous offspring with their mates. One had 11 chicks. Okay, so that's two different females then that had fatherless chicks. So it's immaculate conception then, basically. I mean, birds do it, all these other things do it. So the story from the Bible is not even that weird anymore because all these animals are doing immaculate conception now. I think the only thing weird about immaculate conception now would be that although female, she gave birth to a male, which would be Jesus. So not only did they have these parthenogenesis chicks, but they had regular chicks from the males also. Unlike other examples of avian parthenogenesis, which I've never heard of, these two occurrences are not explained by the absence of a suitable male. So it keeps growing, doesn't it, that story? These findings now raise questions about whether this might occur undetected in other species. Woo! Hiding in plain sight. Another Mandela effect for me is Planck's length used to be 1033, but now they are 1.6 by 10 to the minus 35 instead of 33. Oh, okay, Planck's length, that's a math thing. I don't know. I'm sorry, it's been like really long and I just didn't really do math much. So I can't help you on that one. 10-33, it sounds familiar, but I really wouldn't want to stick my neck out on that one. That's interesting though, because some people were saying before that they thought some of the further digits out past on pi had also changed. 3.14159, but then they usually only made us remember 5 digits out, and so that's all I remembered. But then the next digit out past that, people said changed. Yeah, it helps if you say CK, because I'm like, I was thinking, I'm like, well, I don't do construction, so I don't know. Birds have fallen for the gender agenda. Well, the whole reality has. So, I mean, as much as you might want to say it's some kind of democratic agenda or something, reality is doing it. I mean, like, the birds and the beasts are doing it too. So I don't think the Democrats all by themselves have such power. It is where the timeline is going for whatever reason. Didn't know until I was in my 40s that you don't need roosters to get chicken eggs. I mean, if you want them to hatch, you do. That's always been very nice of chickens, though, to lay them anyway, hasn't it? So usually they put one rooster in there to kind of take care of the hens. A good rooster takes care of the hens, protects them, make sure they get food. So, you know, it's good to have one rooster for that reason. Protects them against dogs and cats and stuff. And you know, those spurs on those roosters will hurt if you get stabbed by one. It is not fun. So, okay, where are we at now? Okay, Condors. Giant Highland banana. This one is from Mark Tyus. Good find. Let me close up some of this. See, that guy's leg just looks weird. So I guess we got new, really long, big, fat bananas now. No pun intended. So I looked into types of bananas before. I mean, I could have missed it, but it's highly suspicious, in my opinion, that you can have like these Mac Daddy bananas. I think this Etsy one will be it. Highland bananas. So that banana is just a little bit larger than normal. Largest plant in the world, banana plant, giant Highland banana. Let me see about what they say about growing it. Known as the largest herbaceous plant in the world. The largest and tallest of the bananas and the largest non-woody plant in the world. What? There's no info on growing the things? So let's look at some images of these things. Okay, so there's a person standing next to said trees that look like the thing that banana is always joked about being. They just happen to look a little pornographic. So I guess now this is the largest herbaceous plant in the world. And also the largest banana. What did I have written down? Thought I had written more stuff. Here's another guy chomping on a banana of these species. You can see it's a little bit large. Biggest banana in the world. Yes, it's rather large. So we looked at types of bananas before. I don't think anybody's seen this up until now. And you know, there's not that much info on them, considering DuckDuckGo should have, I would think, more info. Musa ingens. Very tall. Let's see if we have a wiki on it. Musa ingens. So, largest herbaceous plant in the world. There should be a lot of info on it, you would think. 50 feet plus, Musa ingens. Wiki. Its leaves can reach a length of 16 feet and a width of 1 meter, like 3 feet. Look at, there's like no info on this thing. Look at this. No photos. The largest banana tree and the largest foliage, whatever the heck plant they said it was, non-woody plant in the world, and there's like 2 paragraphs. Taller individuals up to 98 feet have been reported. Photos exist of trunks being 37 inches in diameter at height, at like chest height. Its fruit in a cluster weighing up to 60 kilograms, which is 132 pounds. This cluster is borne on a peduncle up to 4 inches thick and up to 49 feet in length, against the longest of any known plant. The large inflorescence can hold over 300 oblong fruits to 18 centimeters long that are filled with blackish brown seeds and yellowish pulp that is edible, sweet and delicious when cooked, and reminds of the fine butternut squash mixed with sweet banana with a dash of tangy lime and citrus added. Well, that sounds good. So yeah, bananas weren't good enough. Now we have Mac Daddy Giant bananas that taste like bananas plus citrus plus bunches of stuff. That's crazy. You know, I wonder, like, I was kind of hoping it would have some zone information on those, because those might be kind of fun to plant. So that was marked high as good find. Okay, this one was from Gaykindr, Gaykindr, Gaykindr. Parakeets apparently have naturalized in the United Kingdom. I don't remember parakeets surviving in non-tropical environments. Okay, so we have a few parrot species that have supposedly escaped from pets, and somehow one story is a pet store burnt down, but nobody knows where this pet store ever was. And this has been going on for decades in California. So there's these green parrots, and they fly as a flock. And they even go all the way up to Northern California, but they would go up to Northern California in the summer when it's warm up there. And even then I thought it was kind of weird, because it's a little chilly at night, and they're supposed to be tropical birds, and somehow they hack it. And but then they're supposed to come back south to Southern California in the winter, but yet it still can get down to like 37, 40 degrees in our area in the winter. So how are they living here when they're supposed to be tropical birds, and this is a subtropical land? But no, that's not weird enough, because apparently parakeets and a few other parrots and stuff are surviving in Great Britain. And it's freaking cold there, and you can't, like, they don't fly to the south, because Great Britain doesn't have a non-cold south end in the winter. It's just cold, and they shouldn't make it. I mean, we used to sell parakeets, and they wouldn't have survived. It's not right. So I'm calling baloney on this escape parakeets thing. So I'm thinking, 10, 20 years, and then they'll suddenly be like a native bird there. I think this is just the Mandela's way of giving Great Britain parakeets, and probably some other stuff too. How exactly the parakeet population first came to exist and thrive in the wild in England is not known. However, a number of theories abound. Most centered around a pair or more of breeding parakeets that escaped or were released from captivity from sometime in the mid-1990s. Consistent with the first widespread photographs of the birds. Population in Britain. And then they're saying, oh no, they've been spotted in Britain since the 19th century. The earliest recorded sighting was in 1855 in Norfolk. Parakeets were also seen in Dulwich in 1893 and Brixton in 1894. Okay, so that was the thumbnail, was like parakeets and parrots in the snow. So they can survive now in like London, and they can survive. There was a couple other like freezing places, like way up north. You'll see them sitting in the snow looking for food. They're not freezing to death. They should be frozen to death. They come from tropical countries. They didn't used to be able to hack that, so they're just tough now, I guess. Toughies. We have wild roaming parrot species in the Netherlands. They escaped to form their own outlaw gangs. I don't know. They shouldn't because they're freaking tropical. Yeah, that pi has changed 3.151.14159, and it was like past that had changed. Yeah, see, I only remember to 3.14159. That's all that my math teacher made us memorize, and I was not that much of an overachiever, and it has been, decades since I had to know it, so for me it was always 33, but now it's 35. Are you talking about like way out here at 535? It used to be 533. Okay. If you say so, I'm telling you, I was not that much of an overachiever. Have you heard of a red widow spider? No, it looks like a spider I saw one time, kind of, and finally found a red spider. So we had black widows, and then they came out, the Mandela or whoever came out with the brown widows around here, because we have black widows around here. And they said, oh, they're like a less poisonous form of black widow, red widow. Okay, so, So they have like red legs. And then okay, so they have, interesting. Okay, So it looks like they have spots on the top of their abdomen and red legs. But they have that giant bulbous butt that kind of makes widows stick out. Red-orange cephalothorax. Its abdomen is black with yellow rings. The red spots. Legs are vermilion red. Is venomous, though no bites of this species are recorded in medical literature. Seldom comes in contact with humans. Is a threatened species in the United States. Oh, I hate to say that this is one animal I would be happy disappeared, but I have a feeling we'll see more of these things, like more and more and more. Endemic to central and southern Florida. Well, I hope it stays over there. It's restricted to sand pine scrub inland areas. Nope. Okay, well, Florida, I hate to say it, but I have a bad feeling that it's not going to stay over in Florida where it belongs. It belongs nowhere. But, yeah, okay. We're going to get a blue widow spider next. Maybe I should put that on there. See if we have it. Blue widow spider. Blue and red widow spider. Nuh-uh. The red and blue widow spider. Ew, they have it. Is a patented and genetically modified species of spider. Originally came from a black widow. Okay, so it's just a GMO spider then. Kind of curious what it looks like. Ew, kiss it. Okay, so it's just got like creepy red and blue butt. Ew. At least it's not in the wild yet. So it has that giant bulbous butt like the widows, like the black widows. So yeah, no, I haven't heard of that. So yeah, Florida, you get it. I hope you keep it too. I have seen green parakeets in my town in recent years, never seen before. I wonder what area that is. Oh, so today on the way over here, I have never seen the fog this bad in the whole. Even when I lived up north, the fog was not as bad as it was on my way home today. And it gets weirder every year. It's like it was so foggy. I just had to drive so slow. The fog headlights would not cut through it. You could barely see like a car length in front. And it's creepy. It's like disorienting. Luckily, I just have to drive on one street. So I'm driving and I'm slower and slower and slower. Luckily, there weren't many cars on the road. But the weird thing is, it used to be when it was foggy, it would just be foggy. And might be areas with a little more, a little less fog. But now it actually like got so foggy I could barely see. And then I drove another 100 feet and it was gone. Like all the fog was gone. And it's getting weird that way. It's just like so extremely different. It used to be that the fog would roll in off the ocean in like a big wave and it would be fairly consistent. And it might be a little consistent when it burnt off in the morning because maybe the sun would hit certain areas and that would burn off first. But now it's just crazy. It's like insanely foggy, then totally clear, totally clear. So it's just getting wacky. There's a rather large group of wild parrots in both San Jose and San Diego. So now the way I remember it before was that San Jose ones, because they would be like, they were in Sunnyvale once where I grew up. They would go south for the winter though. They didn't actually hang out there. And those were when I was a kid. No bites recorded because it just showed up. Yeah. You Floridians better keep your spiders to yourself. I don't want to see those things over here. Regarding the asteroid that supposedly killed off the dinosaurs, always remember it being 65 million years ago. Now half says 65 million, another half says 66 million. I remember 65 million. So I guess they could say, oh, we were a million years off. But it is interesting. Oh, yeah, that was the GMO spider was the one that bit Spider-Man, of course. White Widow, uh-oh. White Widow spider. All right, let's check it out. Oh, yeah. No. It's not my fault this time. You people are the ones that brought up the spider this time. I didn't do it. White or beige body with darker legs. Very little to nothing is known about the eggs of the spider or the juvenile spiders. Wait, this one. North Africa. All right, well, at least it hasn't shown up here yet, but somehow I don't hold my breath. North Africa and the Middle East and Central Asia. White widow spider or white steppe spider. It's that same Latrodectus species, so it is the widow species. Bite is venomous and can injure humans. Well, not nearly as toxic as the bite of some other ones that I don't know the name of. Is medically significant and can kill children and the infirm. Toxicology studies have reported that the venom of the white widow is similar in structure to that of some other one I never heard of. However, a poster in the Egyptian Society of Toxins describes it as moderately venomous. Okay, not much on it. It kind of looks kind of fresh off the presses, but they are definitely oogie looking. Ugh. At least they're kind enough to have a super creepy butt so that you just get creeped out and know that there's something that's not good. Unlike brown recluse that just looks like the same old spider as ever. All right. Enough with the spiders. At Amazon, there was sold seeds of huge bananas, but the rating is very poor. No one had any success. Sometimes those seed sellers are just crooked and they'll sell you who knows what. But, those are very fresh, so I think we'll need to leave a little time. It was 66.6 million years ago? Ah, messing with me again, are ya? Just like the population clock held up at 6.6 up to 6.7, then back down for months. Yes, that is true. That was interesting, actually, now that you mention it. Another 66. Tilt of Earth, 66.6. Is it really? Is the tilt of Earth 66.6? Let's see. Seems like a lot of tilt. Earth degrees. No, 22.1 and 24.5. That would not equal 66. All right, no messing with me now. I saw a flock of parrots in Fremont, Cali. Yeah, so those guys have been around since I was a kid in Northern California, so I'm sure Southern would have had them. All up and down Cali. At least till Sunnyvale. I don't know if they went north of that or not. In Connecticut, it's way colder. In the West Haven, and they have them. Same thing, they escaped. And they used the power transformers to build their nests. Strange that the rating about this huge banana seeds is dated October 2021. Yeah, I have a feeling this one's fresh. All right, let me check that tilt of the Earth thing again. Tilt of the Earth, 66.6 degrees. Okay, so that's some kind of other. What is the angle subtended between the Earth's axis of rotation and its plane of orbit around the sun? I don't know what that word means, subtended. The answer is D, 66.6 degrees, but it is somewhat misleading in that most people know the angle that the Earth's axis is off vertical, which is 23.4 degrees. Oh, okay, so 90 minus 23.4, that's 66, isn't it? 67. Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay. Rather than this answer showing the elevation above horizontal plane. Okay, I see what you mean. So, yeah, not good then. Maybe it'll tilt a little more when we get to the good place, right? Oh yeah, you have a good point though. Yeah, if the globe model of Earth becomes not correct in future timelines, then we won't be tilted at 66.6 degrees if we're on flat Earth. So that would be good, right? World population over 7 billion. Yeah. So basically what happened is it was like at 6 billion and some 6.6, 6.7 billion, and it would go up to like 6.8 billion, and then it went back down to 6.6 billion, and then the next time I looked at it, it was like 7.6 billion. What is it even now? So it was like 7.7 or 8 last time I looked. Oh, up to 9 now. Let's see. It might have been this one. Yeah, this looks like it. Worldometer. Oh, so we're up to 7.9 now. So it seems like it's clacking along is basically as expected since like a year ago. But it was going like up and down for quite some time, and I had it on the show. I really wonder what I said on those shows now, because it it had to have changed, It's like, as usual, the first Google search results kind of hide the suspicious numbers. Yeah, if I didn't type in the 6.6, I wouldn't have found it. .666 is all over in the globe model. That's really interesting now. It feels like we're shifting over to somewhere where we might have flat Earth or something like that. Because a lot of the Mandelas that I've seen make the world look more flat. Like it looks like there's a dome now. If you look at a lot of the sky phenomena, it looks like it's on a dome. It's all Mandelas though. They weren't there before. The sprites look like they're peeking through a dome. There's just a bunch of stuff now. The what do you call it? Those weird auras around the moon and stuff. The sun dogs. They look like they're projected on a dome-shaped lattice, and there was no sundogs before. So reality can change. Then we could be on a flat Earth. It's not any weirder than reality magically changing it. So I mean, once reality changes in front of your face, there's really nothing any weirder than that you could come up with. Reality is not stable. It's not real. That pretty much puts anything else on the table as potential. All right. All right. That famous tunnel, the Gotthard tunnel. How do you spell that? The Gotthard tunnel. What is it, in Europe or something? How do you spell that? This is kind of like the Gottfried one that I had on Gilbert Gottfried turned to Gottfried. Well, the Gothard tunnel is now not how I remember it. And this one is from John Austin, so good find, John Austin. What reality changed in front of me? Well, actually, there have been a few that have kind of changed right in front of me. There's been a few times when I pulled something up on the screen, and then I left and I came back, and it was different on the screen, but I had the same screen pulled up. I had not clicked on anything. There's been a few where I caught things changing as I had them pulled up, as I was researching them. When it finally tilts, will Porky Pig appear in the clouds and say, "That's all, folks"? Yeah, you know Mandela likes to be sneaky. I don't know if it'll be like that forever, but in Switzerland, yeah, this tunnel that they had the creepy ceremony in Switzerland. That's right, it's in Switzerland. How do you spell that? A big building changed overnight in San Diego in 2017. Everyone saw it had changed. Really? Which building was that? I've definitely seen stuff change overnight. I'll give you that. Like that on ramp that I used to get on the freeway change overnight. And there, for a while, there's this police station on one of the roads that I drive by. That thing was really shifty for months. It's finally settled down now, but when they first built it, in my timeline, it was fairly ornate with all this strut work and stuff underneath. It's like 2-3 stories high, and it has kind of a castle like shape on one end, and then it's like long on the other, but it has it's like a pillar, a fat pillar shape, like a side of a castle. And at the top was a round ceiling, and underneath it had overhangs, and it had all this fancy strut work and stuff. And that would like appear and disappear and change and this and that. And they had some other strut work across the front that would disappear, reappear, change, blah blah blah. It was freaky. So now it's all like plain. It stayed plain for a while. Okay, so I see we've got another split coming up here. I've saved screenshots to use in other videos, and they've changed. Yes, yes, yes. And I've seen videos of people change. And so I don't know if you were talking about the dimensional hotel that what's his name found, Life Matrix. So that one just showed up. The Life Matrix dimensional hotels showed up. And I've definitely had buildings show up, though. And yeah, it's pretty much overnight. I mean, I didn't look away and look back and there was a building, but I went home and I came back and there was a building. A sign in Walmart changed color when I glanced away, but I saw it change. That's interesting. Now there are clips of Judge Judy using a gavel. Are you serious? Capilicious 420. All right, let's see. Judge Judy. Boy, you guys got a lot of them today. Gavel. All right, I'm just going to type Judge Judy gavel. Did Judge Judy use a gavel? Judge Judy is taking her gavel. All right, there's an image with her in her hand that almost feels like it's mocking us. Seems some remember her regularly using a gavel the way a regular judge does. Today there is no video of her doing this. Although for some publicity shots, such as the one featured here, she's holding one. There's no doubt she often slams her hand down on her desk for effect or to get order, but there's no footage of her doing it with a gavel. Those affected by this Mandela effect are certain it was her trademark and claim she used it excessively. Yeah, she was always slamming that thing. There is some video of her mentioning using a gavel. I don't remember her slamming her hand either. At least not. I really only watched it the first year, 2 or 3, and intermittently. I kind of watched the first year a lot. But I just remember her always whapping that thing. I don't remember her ever slamming her hand. And frankly, as an older female, slamming your hand with the current timeline hand where there's these weird bones and stuff, it is not comfortable. I still actually sometimes slam my hand and regret it because this bone here didn't used to be here, and I used to be able to slap my hand down and not hurt myself. But now this bone like yams onto the surface and it hurts. So I don't see someone slamming their hand hard and like not having hand pain. In French, it's Gotthard, but in English, it's now, yeah, I see. I've never seen that spelling. Why would we use a different spelling than you used? I always remember it as Gothard. There's now clips of Judge using. You know what? I don't know. It didn't say anything about clips of her using a gavel. That's interesting because this alternate memory says she never used it in clips, only in only as stills. Okay, so I don't know. You'll have to link it because I don't know where it's at. I remember Gotthard, Gotthard, but I might be an NPC. Well, I don't know. I don't remember you on the show before. So there was also like one time where I saw a weird clip in a show. It was a documentary, and then I wanted to see it again because they said something really weird. So they cycled through the shows every like 4 hours. So when it came back on 4 hours later, I watched the show for that clip and it was gone. So it didn't change right in front of me, but it changed in 4 hours. This article isn't correct. There's footage of it now, and that's what got me. Oh, Stavely made a video on her gavel slapping now. It seems like lately that's kind of been a thing. Like, old Mandelas are de-Mandelifying. Like, we had the, what was that one we had a couple weeks ago? Oh, Cup O Noodles now actually did have an O in the old Cup of Noodles. So it's, a historical flip-flop or a de-Mandela, whatever you want to call it. But so now then it's a little bit of a de-Mandela for Judge Judy if she has clips of that. I do remember her doing it regularly, but it's less convincing if she did do it a few times at least, because you could have been remembering those times. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think that it's not a Mandela, but it now is far less plausible as a Mandela if that's the case. Someone's saying seconds are going faster, can't count Mississippi now. You really got to haul butt to count Mississippi and squish it all into a second. That's basically the thing now. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, so Gotthard's tunnel. I always remembered it as Gotthard tunnel in everything I ever read, which obviously would always be in English. And I don't really remember them calling it Gothard base tunnel, to be honest. I don't remember the word base, but Gothard tunnel is now Gotthard tunnel. With two T's, so it sort of sounds like a bad porn movie now. Gotthard Tunnel. Now notice that I typed it in my way, Gothard Tunnel. I was sure it was Gothard, but it's not giving me anything for Gothard. It goes straight to this double T business. This timeline likes its double T's, because that's was not a thing in my original timeline. Double T's, what's the point of them? You already have T sound. You don't need another T. Look, I'm trying to force it to give me the one I remember. Let me just go to Google because I don't know if that works on. All right, I'm going to capitalize the G Whoops. Has to be Gotthard. Let's see if we can get something out of it. See, it won't give me any with Gothard. Wait, here. Did I get one? Jubilee of St. Gothard Tunnel. That's the only one. Constructed in 1826, died in the tunnel of apoplexy was... St. Gothard Tunnel. Switzerland Forum. Okay, interesting. So there's a little bit in French, but it's pretty much all double T's now. I really had to force to get these. So yeah, I don't know. Godfrey is Gottfried. Gothard is Gotthard. I don't know. Is it trying to tell us something here with this porn? Jonar Games is in. Welcome. Capilicious remembers Gotthard. Well, you must have brought it from your timeline. Okay, so anyways, that one was from John Austin. This one's kind of interesting just on the healing perspective. So apparently now, not only can you create new brain neurons after childhood, but you do create them. 1,500 new neurons every day, according to some sources. So I don't know how they go from you can't do it to you do 1,500 new neurons a day. Kind of a stretch. So, I mean, how much, I just wonder, are we going to shift over and then have like the new reality kind of stable for a while, or will it just keep changing and changing and changing, and will all this stuff become thrown out the window in 10 years? Even in adult brains, new neurons are continually forming. Over our lifetime, we renew 80% of the cells in the area of the hippocampus, a crucial structure for learning and memory. A team at UNIL has uncovered some of the secrets of this process of neurogenesis, the added bonus of potential therapeutic applications, notably for Alzheimer's disease. That's a good point. You know, if they can figure out a solution for Alzheimer's, I mean, you could regrow some of that stuff then. 20 years ago, it seemed the matter was settled. Contrary to numerous other cells in our body, those found in the brain could not regrow. During development of the embryo, then during childhood, our neurons form and connect to produce a highly complex network. Yet when we reach adulthood, a number of them degenerate and die. Nowadays, we know that this is simply not the case, that at any age or almost, neurons can regenerate in certain parts of the brain, which are veritable neuron nurseries. All right, so they were saying there's like 1,500 a day, somewhere in there. Okay, so it's just stem cells, I guess. But anyway, the point is, though, it's just everything regrows now, which is good, I guess. And speaking of the devil, I know that this was not the case before, and it's interesting that these all came from different people. This one comes from, so the neurons thing was Thomas Larson. Good find, Thomas Larson. Thank you. Now we have a very similar thing. Sorry, that was my phone. Sapioid came up with this one. And I know that they said you couldn't do this before, because we have a lot of this problem that runs on my dad's side of my family. Mental medium, tobacco, here. So we have a lot of COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, ran in my dad's side of the family. Of course, the lungs look very different in that timeline. They were longer, they were squished together, and they only had two lobes each. They didn't look like this, which just looks like a giant cancer cells. But in those days, for sure, if you had COPD, you could not regain function. Your only hope was to stabilize the COPD so it didn't get worse. That's your main goal in life. But now they're saying you can partially reverse it. You can rehab it. It's kind of fishy, wishy about exactly. Well, maybe it'll scar, maybe it won't. But if it doesn't scar too much, then it can be fixed. Kind of blah blah blah. But so they're saying like faulty repair causes scar damage, but if it's not too damaged, it could repair. There never was. Basically, the story here now is that there can be improvement. And in the old days, it was like, no, there was no improvement. But now they're saying like, see, okay, after COVID-19, 88% had lung damage when they were discharged from the hospital. So this isn't going to be the average COVID patient. This is going to be somebody that had to get hospitalized. And they're pretty picky about you being really sick before they let you in. So you're not in good shape if you go in there. So 88% had lung damage, but that drum number dropped to 56% after 12 weeks. So basically they're saying that you can get almost all damage back from like 3 to 12 months later. Not just for COVID, but for other things sometimes. And that just wasn't a thing. It used to be lung damage was lung damage and you weren't going to fix it. So I don't know. It's just interesting. Everything heals now is basically the point. Or a lot of things. And I think that there's a very strong trend in that direction. DD74 asking about the tunnel. I don't know. I don't know the details on the Gotthard tunnel. I just remember it wasn't Gotthard tunnel. When I was a kid, I learned you can regrow brain cells, but it took 50 years to grow. Interesting. That's interesting because that might be a Mandela even from here, because they're saying here that 20 years ago they said you couldn't. So they still are saying the same thing I remember. Yeah, they're neuron nurseries because of the stem cells, the magical stem cells. Okay, next one. I did that. Oh, I think I'm almost done. Yeah, there's only one left. Quit it. All right, here we go. This is not a Mandela, but it's really, I don't know, disturbing, interesting, movie-like, but it's already here in reality. It is definitely new. I mean, I wouldn't say this was in my old timeline, so it's not a Mandela, but okay. I don't know how many of you know this. Some of you may. I have really not heard much about it. You would think the news would be all over this. Even just to make fear porn out of it. Or something. I mean, it's definitely newsworthy. And maybe it has been and I missed it. So apparently, CRISPR, that's that gene editing technology. Apparently you can just buy a kit and do gene editing in your house. So you can gene edit bacteria, you can gene edit human stem cells, all this stuff. So, title: A biohacker regrets publicly injecting himself with CRISPR. So, I assume they mean a CRISPR edited something. There's no doubt in my mind that somebody is going to end up hurt eventually. Yes, she thinks. So, apparently, this guy did some kind of gene editing and then injected it. He injected himself with an untested herpes treatment live on YouTube. So somehow I missed this, but he sterilized his body to transplant his entire microbiome in front of a reporter. He squabbled with the FDA about selling a kit to make glow-in-the-dark beer. He's extensively documented attempts to genetically engineer the color of his skin. And the most notorious, he injected his arm with DNA encoding for CRISPR that could theoretically enhance his muscles. So when Zayner saw Ascendance Biomedical's CEO injecting himself on a live stream earlier this month, you might say there was an uneasy flicker of recognition. Zayner holds a PhD in biochemistry and biophysics, and he now runs a company called The Odin that sells DIY CRISPR kits, including the CRISPR construct he injected in himself for the muscle growth. He's long had critics, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you can buy DIY CRISPR kits, apparently, is the point. I'm actually on this subreddit on Reddit called like Biohackers, and somebody was asking about, has anybody tried the CRISPR home kits? I'm like, what? What CRISPR home kits? So yeah, they're out, they're around. People are genetically engineering stuff, injecting themselves with it, and this is in 2018. So I don't know where I've been, but it's there. It's like, it reminds me of Blade Runner or something. So who knows? Maybe look at the size of that big injector thing. It looks like a turkey baster. So I don't know. Maybe your little Corona little gift came from someone's backyard. Who knows? But I just thought I'd put it out there because it's weird. CRISPR buying is around half a year to a year old for me. Yeah, so that was in 2018. How much more GMO do you want to get? Yeah, well, you can do it yourself. I must admit, I always giggle when he calls you Eliza Kung Pao Chicken. Ah, is that your new nickname? Odin transformed himself to gain something, like poking out his eye for knowledge. What do these fools want to achieve with their Odin? So, since we see all the Mandela, you just have to wonder, we are naturally transforming. So it might not be that good an idea to mess with a moving target, so to speak. Anyways, well, okay, so 2:30. I think I actually moved along at a decent rate since you guys had a lot of Mandelas, so I appreciate that, and I had kind of a lot. I would not say it was a super, super busy week, but it was not a slow week. Now all we have to do is find out if preliminal is preliminal or preliminal. I'm having trouble with the new version. And thank you all for all your contributions. See you next week. So we'll have a time change this weekend and we'll fall back. So what I'm doing at 12 will happen an hour earlier next week. So expect like an hour earlier show, I think, then from this week, which might been an hour late from you guys have changed. I might be just catching back with you. But anyways, from this week, it'll be an hour earlier. Anyway, so I think that's about it. Thanks, everybody. You guys had a lot of good Mandelas. Very much appreciate it. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.